let's move to some NBA and talk about the Lakers. As Rajon Rondo broke his right thumb in practice and is out 6 to 8 weeks. So the question here is, Clarence, how much will this impact LeBron and the Lakers' title chances?
Well, first of all, they lost another ball handler in Rondo. And this is a severe loss, Trey. You got to be honest, though, because when you lose a veteran like that, you lose another ball handler, another leader, another person that's been through situations to win a championship. And that's just a key loss. And I was just thinking to myself, now Rondo is going to be out for a couple weeks. Should maybe y'all convince Avery Bradley for a return? I mean, Dwight Howard, at first he decided he was going to opt out, but now he decided to come back. So I think this would be the perfect setup plan to bring Avery Bradley back because they need another guard.
Yeah, but Avery Bradley already said he's not coming to the bubble because I think his son has respiratory issues. So he doesn't want to put his son at risk or his son's health at risk to come and play NBA basketball for 2 months. So Avery Bradley's out the question. I believe when you look at the title chance for the Lakers, I don't think this really decreases their title chances to win the NBA championship this year. And I'm gonna tell you why. I'm not so sure what kind of production you was going to get out of Rondo anyway. I will give Rondo credit. What? There's a moment, hold on, because Rondo struggled mightily this year. He hasn't been always consistent. But I will say throughout the course of his career, Rondo has had some playoff moments. They don't call him playoff Rondo for nothing. So I think he has some leadership that he can bring to the table as a player. But I think LeBron James already knew that majority of the weight was going to be on his shoulders anyway. So I believe the fact that this is one less ball handler that the Lakers have on their roster, it's going to just increase the load on LeBron James. But the good thing for Laker fans and LeBron James is LeBron James has been off for the last 5 months. So him being 35 years of age, he should be able to have enough in the tank to get it done for the Lakers. I don't think it will happen. I think the Lakers are going to lose to the Clippers. I already told you that. But I think LeBron, the load that he's going to have to carry now increases because you have one less ball handler on the floor. But ultimately, do I believe it's going to impact whether or not they win a championship or not? I don't believe it will. I don't. I think Avery Bradley was a more significant loss than Rajon Rondo.
Well, listen. I hear what you're saying. I hear what you're saying from that point of view. And I definitely believe that the LA Lakers are still going to beat the Clippers because playoff LeBron, excuse me, is ridiculous. It's just a ridiculous player. But here's this. That's not like they got enough ball handlers to pass the ball around. But for LeBron James, it's gonna be him and AD. Then the two top stars in the NBA. Can they both show up and lead this team into the playoff? But for Rondo, that is a significant loss because at this point he was taking just 3-point shooting. He was taking a lot of 3-point shooting. He was coming into this game and he was still dishing out the passes, which was effective when LeBron was sitting out. And I'm gonna just say this. If Rondo, hopefully, if he come back in the middle of the playoff, it will give them a big boost. It will give them a big boost. It get the ball out, get the ball out of LeBron's hands, and it just gonna make things more flexible enough for them to do more. Because once you got the ball out of LeBron's hand, you can try to maneuver with the players like J.R. Smith and AD and Dion Waiters, which I think he's gonna be playing significant numbers now since Rondo is out. So he's gonna be another ball handler. I think they're gonna be just fine. I think it's gonna be fine. They just gotta let the game come to them, Trey. No overreaction.
So you say no? It won't be a major impact on their title chances. You say no?
No, it won't be no big. No, it will be actually a challenge for the young ones on the Lakers team to show their true talents in the playoffs, especially with LeBron James. So it's gonna open up a new door for them. So if they can manage that, keep the ball out of LeBron's hand, not 90%, I think it'd be fine. It will be fine. They got enough players to be a ball handler.
Before the NBA shut down, the Lakers were first in the Western Conference with a record of 49-14, and LeBron James was emerging as an MVP candidate right along there with Giannis. So my question for you is on the second part of this Lakers segment, do you believe as we come back to the NBA and the NBA resumes later in July, do you believe the Lakers should be the favorites to win the championship?
Yeah, definitely. I think they have the most experienced players on their team. as of right now, and I truly believe with LeBron James on your team, and you can win. You can win. Like the minimal is the NBA Finals with LeBron James because he went 8 years back and he's just showing up, play 40 plus minutes that you needed from him, the minutes that you expect from him. I think the Lakers are the pinpoint NBA Finals champions in my opinion, because when you have a playoff LeBron, it gets very scary. And look, I'm not a LeBron fan, Trey. I'm not a LeBron fan, but I watched the man over basically all my life, and I know what he brings to the table. So what he brings to the table is integrity, hard work, and entertaining.
Yeah, see, I told you this before on Wise Guys on our show. I told you a few months ago when the NBA first shut down, if the season would have continued at the rate it was going, because we've seen the Lakers have that weekend series when they beat the Bucks on a Friday night in LA, and then they turned around on Sunday afternoon at Staples and they beat the Clippers. I thought the Lakers were trending in the right direction, and they pretty much had their foot on the gas pedal heading into the playoffs. I thought they were the favorites heading into the playoffs, although before the season I picked the Clippers to win a championship. But I think because we had the NBA shutdown, I think that's kind of put a halt and it stopped the Lakers' momentum. The Lakers had all the momentum before the shutdown. And I kind of related to when you drive in a car. When you drive in a car and you have to all of a sudden hit the brakes real fast, it's hard to gear back up and get everything back up and going. And I think that's the biggest question that I have about LeBron. He's 35 years of age. Father Time is undefeated. If they would have went right into the playoffs, I think the Lakers would have had a better chance to beat the Clippers in the Western Conference Finals and get to the finals and win. But because they had this NBA shutdown, I think it benefited the Clippers more so than the Lakers. And let me tell you why. Because I believe it gave Paul George and Kawhi Leonard a chance to rest up and gear up for the playoffs. Like, they hadn't really played many games throughout the regular season together. Paul George and Kawhi Leonard, they hadn't played many games. And so now they're going to get a chance to come back before the playoffs, play a few games together, build up some chemistry. And I think the Clippers are the favorites in the NBA to win the NBA championship in Orlando when we return. I said the Clippers are going to win the championship before the season. And now that we are at this point now, we're going to have an NBA restart. I still believe that Kawhi Leonard, Paul George, and Doc Rivers are going to get it done ultimately, because I think they got too many bodies they can throw at LeBron James. You got Morris, George, Leonard, Beverly. You have so many bodies that you can throw at LeBron James, and I'm not so sure if LeBron is going to have enough in the tank in a late playoff series.
Man, I think you're tripping right now, man. Let me list the playoff players that won championships on championship teams. Danny Green, San Antonio Spurs, and Toronto Raptors. J.R. Smith, the Cleveland Cavaliers with LeBron James. JaVale McGee, the Golden State Warriors. Rajon Rondo when he's come back. Boston Celtics. Them are players. Them are key players that's going to play important roles in the playoff. Let's go show up, man. I'm just telling you this. This Lakers team is the most experienced team in the NBA, and they're the favorites and the big favorites to win the championship, right, man.
So you're going to sit up here and act like the Clippers don't have championship experience with Kawhi Leonard being a two-time NBA champion, Doc Rivers winning the championship with the Boston Celtics. We got Tyronn Lue also won a championship with LeBron in 2016 with the Cleveland Cavaliers. I think the Clippers also got the coaching advantage. They have a better coaching staff than the Lakers. I think Doc Rivers is a significantly better coach than Frank Vogel, and you also got Tyronn Lue on that staff. So I think the Clippers have the edge in multiple departments.
I'm gonna just say this: they do have a nice better staff. But for Vogel, his coaching strategy, he brings defense to this team, and I think that this Lakers team is very underrated on the defensive side. But everybody, remember, go follow Wise Guys on Facebook or Wise Guys Instagram. These guys know sport, and Twitter. Wise Guy _H, and we are live on a worldwide sports radio network. I just truly believe, though, Trey, that the Lakers is going to be the favorites to win this championship in Orlando, which let's go bring LeBron's fourth championship back home to LA, and I think it's going to happen this year. And I truly believe it. And Kawhi Leonard, he's a fantastic player, but LeBron James is going to outshine him in the playoffs.
Let me ask you another question before we move on to the next segment and Russell Westbrook. In the Eastern Conference, do you believe the Milwaukee Bucks can win a championship? Do you believe in Milwaukee overall?
I believe that they can make the NBA Finals. I give you that. But let me tell you this: if it came down to Giannis playing against the Clippers, I think it would be more possibly easy for him. But it probably
easy.
I'm gonna say this.
You say easy? Wait. So you think it'd be an easier matchup for Giannis and the Bucks against the Clippers and the Lakers?
I think Giannis finally understand that what type of player that he's playing against in Kawhi Leonard and that what he brings to the table. And for Paul George, he's still questionable about his playoff experience of showing up. So that's gonna be something more or less delightful to see. Now you playing when they played against the LA Lakers, they're basically throwing tall trees at him. Something that they just smother him and force shooters to shoot. And that's going to possibly be a problem right then and there when your star player is getting double teamed and crumbled up in the paint. That's just me.
I guess you forgot about the 2019 Eastern Conference Finals when Kawhi Leonard and the Toronto Raptors and Nick Nurse, when they built that wall up and Giannis had no answers for that Toronto Raptors defense. I guess you forgot about that, huh? And now
we got no wall. But the Clippers don't have no wall.
But they still got nice perimeter defenders. They got Kawhi Leonard. They got Paul George, two of the best two-way players we have in the NBA. They got a nice defensive player also in Montrezl Harrell. They make no mistake about it. The Clippers can get key stops when they need to. That's why I think they got the edge in the NBA right now as far as being able to win a championship, because they have multiple players that can do multiple things. And that's why I think they're the team to beat right now.